Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2021 Bentley Continental GT Convertible. Now this is part of the third generation. That production started in 2018, and this shares the same platform as the second generation Porsche Panamera, although this definitely looks a lot better than that car does. And yeah, some changes to compared to the prior generation is that this has is overall lighter by 176 pounds. Has a longer wheelbase by 5.3 inches, has a 48-volt roll control system to make the car flat and level when going through corners, and it has a new version of its top-of-the-line engine. So yeah, and I think the Bentley Continental has gotten overall better looking as time has gone on. Yeah, it certainly looks a lot better than the first generation did, and yeah, has gradually become a very, very handsome looking car. So yeah, and this convertible is no exception whatsoever, and especially love the rear end. And yeah, the side has actually had, for the first time ever on a production car, been used in the new super formed process in terms of making aluminium panels. So basically what it means is instead of stamping the panels out, they get formed via superheated gas, so you can make much more complex shapes. And yeah, the shape on this is absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, I really do like the side profile that it's got going on. Interior wise, well, it's as sumptuous as you'd expect a Bentley to be, with lots of leather, wood, aluminium, and yeah, plenty of toys to go on as well. But what is obviously a bit different to some cars nowadays is the fact that it's still got a lot of buttons, but I'm kind of fine with that. Especially since it means that you're not as, distracted by a screen and whatnot. But overall, very handsome looking car on the inside. I like the interior colour coordination that has gone on with this version of the car. And yeah, you've got a decent sized boot as well. Being a Grand Tourer, you want a decent sized boot, as you are going to be carrying plenty of things around. But the pièce de résistance of this car is its engine, which is a revised version of the engine that we saw in the Bentley Bentayga. And it is a 6-litre twin turbocharged W12 engine producing 626 horsepower and 663 pounds-feet of torque, which is a huge amount of power and torque. But it needs to be, because being all-wheel drive and having that large engine and all of that interior, it does weigh 5,322 pounds, which is obviously quite a lot. But it does have, to compensate that, a lot of power and, more crucially, a lot of torque to get off the line and make the most of that all-wheel drive system and whatnot. So yeah, fantastic looking car, and probably one of my favourite versions of the Continental. Sure, it's not as powerful as, say, the Super Sports, which I think was part of the prior generation, and as a consequence it's also not quite as lightweight as that car, but this does everything a Grand Tourer should do. And yeah, that's something we'll get onto when we get onto the open road. So let's get out there and see what this car can do. Right, here we are at the drag strip, so let's see what this car can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round the track. So yeah, all-wheel drive, plenty of torque low down. This absolutely flies off the line, and despite having quite a lot of weight, and weighs as much as some SUVs, it's by no means a slouch, as you can see. In fact, that is pretty much as quick as the Jaguar XE SV Project 8 that I've already reviewed could do in a straight line. Now granted, this does have more power, but it also has a lot more in the way of weight, so that just shows how efficient this car is getting off the line, its all-wheel drive system, and how efficient it is at delivering the power that it has on the go, because yeah, you've got to make up with that weight somehow. And although it does have more power than that Jaguar, it's only by about 34 horsepower or something like that. Although the torque will obviously make a big difference, having way more of that than the Jaguar does. But still, for a massive Grand Tourer with a lot of weight on the go, it is certainly a quick car in its own right, and compared to other vehicles. And yeah, we're in mid-A class, which obviously isn't the highest by any means, but there's more reasons for why that's only a good thing. But yeah, stats overall are decent. Launch, acceleration and top speed are pretty good. Handling is decent, but the braking is obviously on the lower side of things given how much it actually weighs, and obviously how much it can actually go in terms of top speed. So yeah, but those brakes could be a little bit better. But on the whole, I really do like this car. And yeah, but to see how much more I like this car, let's get it onto the track, see what it sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more. So let's give it a shot at the track. So yeah, sounds pretty good, and being a convertible it does obviously sound louder inside when the roof is down than when it is up, which is always a nice little touch. But yeah, in terms of handling it's perfectly fine. It's never going to be as good as some cars that have the same kind of level of power as this. You know, you look at a Lamborghini Huracan for instance, which has about 24 horsepower less in its at least one version of it, and yeah, that car would run rings around this, but it's not meant to be a supercar competitor, quite frankly, which is one reason why I didn't particularly get wholly on board with the super sports version of the prior generation, because yes, it has a lot of power and torque, yes, it's really well quite fun in a straight line, but it could never compete with a Lamborghini or a Ferrari of similar levels of power. Whereas this isn't trying to do that, it is just trying to be a Grand Tourer, so that means that it's got plenty of speed and acceleration, yes, but it's also very easy to drive, it's comfortable, it's luxurious, it looks great, and it's able to, you know, have a good amount of practicality on its side. But that's not to say that it's a slow car. 0 to 60 is dealt with in 3.7 seconds, 0 to 100 is dealt with in 8.116 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 211 miles an hour. Now you can get a more powerful version of this called the GTC Speed, so that has about 24 extra horsepower. Still not as much as a Super Sports, but it would obviously help in terms of getting off the line a little bit better. But yeah, this is perfectly fine in terms of its power delivery, and yeah, it's really rather fun to drive as well. And it also looks great, and yeah, it's just a really rather nice car to drive around this sunny climate in. Quite frankly, it's a good cruiser, and yeah, it does what a GT car should be able to do, is lap up the miles effortlessly, while being really rather quick and enjoyable to drive all in the process. So yeah, fantastic car overall, to be honest. Let's take a look. Can we do the convertible? No, we can't. It looks fairly decent with the roof up, but it does look a lot better with the roof down like this right now. So yeah, you can get this via the European Automotive Car Pack. We've already seen the Jaguar, that is also part of that car pack. There's one more to look at, because we've already looked at one of the other vehicles in the car pack in Forza Motorsport, but still, really rather nice car pack, and yeah, again, just adds more variety and more new cars to the Forza series to the game, quite frankly. So yeah, get out there and get the car pack if you haven't already. It is well worth getting it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.